Okay, you can.
I think if you ask me why so many people love all the Shrek movies, I think it's because you have a lot of characters that you can easily fall in love with. Like for me, I would love to have a friend who is like Donkey, who's there all the time. Actually, I think right now we have one of the animators who's a little bit like Donkey. I think Emrit is a little bit like Donkey. So he would not leave you alone. He's always there. He always talks. And then, but the good thing is, you know, he's always there supporting you. And he's a good friend, a real friend. I think everyone would love to have a friend like that. And having someone like Puss in Boots, someone who has a lot of attitude and very proud and really amazing character, and Antonio Banderas, he did the voice, it's just amazing. And Shrek, in a way, is a little bit like, I think everyone has a little bit of Shrek in themselves. Like, you would go through a stage that you don't feel like you fit in, and then you feel like you're a monster to everyone else, and then how later on you realize, hey, everyone, it's not just you being a monster, maybe a lot of people around you, they are a little bit of a monster too, and how to get fit in and accept yourself. I think is a really great story that everyone can relate to.
Right. So talking about the different styles in animation, you worked on Madagascar as well as on Shrek, and then of course on Kung Fu Panda. So how is it fitting in different styles? How do you change mode? What do you do?
Well, I think to do different style of animation, the main thing is you have to understand the characters. Like for example, if I'm animating on Madagascar, then I'm trying to get my head into, say, King Julia. When I was animating him, try to get more action, and also the style of Madagascar is a little bit more stylized, that you can come to a frame and then you can freeze the motion totally and it will work fine. And then in the Shrek world is a little bit different. The Shrek style of animation is a little bit more organic, a little bit closer to live action in a way, but kind of stylized live action animation in Shrek. And then for Kung Fu Panda, it was really fun because when I did the Secrets of the Furious 5, it was mostly 2D animation. So I got to go back to when I was doing 2D animation, think about what kind of stuff I really like, and try to also at the same time capture the spirit of the animation of Kung Fu Panda the movie.
Right.
So it was really a lot of fun.
So did coming from China help you with the Kung Fu?
It helped me a lot in a way that I, like in Kung Fu Panda the movie and also Kung Fu Panda Secrets of the Furious 5, all the background, whenever there's the Chinese characters, or whenever there's a sign, we don't use any English language. We use all Chinese characters on the signs, on the roads, and everything. And so it helped me a lot because I know how to write those. And also being Chinese and working on a movie about that kind of culture, it really helped me a lot because I understand that culture. It would be the equivalent of if we're making an Indian story and having you guys to come up with a story or come up with a style of animation,
right.
Then you would know, okay, if I have a main character who's an Indian, if I say yes, I would do this. And then I would know, okay, if this is a Chinese animated movie, I would know how to hold a pair of chopsticks properly.
Right.
So it's anything that you can relate to the movies or to the characters, anything that you can find in yourself that can associate with them, that really helps you to make your characters more alive and
right.
make your story more appealing too.
Right. Okay. You do storyboards as well. So how is it when you get into a room with all other different story artists and all the juices flowing? What is it like to be inside and bouncing off story ideas?
Well, actually, we don't. I mean, we do bounce ideas of each other when we have a brainstorming meeting. When we get all the storyboard artists together, like today I'm with you guys, then we would talk about, okay, this sequence how should we, what kind of ideas people can come up with that we can either make the characters more fun, or any jokes that we can add to the story. But actually, most of the time, the storyboard artists would work on their own. Like for example, if I get a script, few pages of a sequence, then I would take the pages and then I'll go to my desk, my little office, and start thinking about how I would stage it, how I would make this story work, and how the story can flow more naturally and also more organic.
Right.
In a way, it's very funny because doing storyboards and animation are very much the same. In a way that in animation we would do blocking. We would do something very. It's like when you do a painting, you do the broad stroke. You don't. You do the big strokes. You don't really think about too much of the details. So it's the same thing with storyboarding. You would have some rough idea of what you're gonna do with the sequence, and then after that you really get into the fine emotions of the characters.
Right.
And also also at the same time you look for ways that you can make this sequence more interesting visually and also timing wise.
Right.
How can we cut this sequence to make it exciting for the audience?
Right.
That's really fun.
Okay. So is it an evolving process of doing it and then redoing it, or how does it work? And how long does it take?
It usually depends on how difficult the sequence is when you do storyboard. Sometimes you can get it done really fast in say a week, but sometimes if you have a really tough sequence, you can spend a few weeks just to do it. For example, I was working on Shrek 2. I was storyboarding kind of a little bit of a musical. That's when Fiona first met Fairy Godmother. So Fairy Godmother showed up in a bubble, and then when she sees Fiona, she was a little surprised that she's still an ogre. She's expect her to be a beautiful princess by now, and then she started singing to Fiona, and also like dancing around her. So with that, it was a little difficult because it's a musical that I have to know the song, and when I pitch the sequence to the directors, I have to sing the song with the lyrics, and then time it to the picture and do the presentation. Because the tricky part about doing storyboard is not just the drawings, you also have to be able to pitch your sequence to the artists.
Right.
And when you pitch it, the best way to do it is try to pitch it like in a way that you're performing about a sequence, and the people who are watching it would get a good sense of what it will look like when it is a movie.
Right.
So that's the critical and a tricky way. It's not easy, but after you just redo it and redo it again and again, then you start to build a skill that you know how to present that.
That's interesting.